Hi! Before we start this video, I want you to take a look at this scene. Look, anime is weird, but is it just weird, or does it have a deeper meaning to it? This is Unfixed Bodies, the body as metaphor in anime. My research investigates the use and representation of the body in anime as a powerful device to communicate expressive narrative meanings and associations through the use of metaphor. By exploiting the imaginative possibilities of the 2D animation medium, the representation of the body can be explored in very expressive and often surrealistic ways. In this video essay, we'll be looking at the body as metaphor through the critical analysis of 3 Japanese animations: Akira, Paprika, and Sarazanmai. Although each of these animations have different narratives, they all use a similar metaphorical approach to represent important narrative themes through the various depictions of body using 2D animation. To start with, what is a metaphor? Defined by John Charteris Black, metaphor is a word or phrase that is used with a sense that differs from another basic sense that this word has. I also considered the concept of body without organs to further understand the concept of body and self in animation. A Deleuze theory, this notion of a body without organs is distributed beyond the physical and can exist across different mediums and contexts in its realization. It opposes the idea of a single identity. It is an assemblage of different flows. The concept of the body that I will be highlighting doesn't only serve as a physical form. Rather, it's a shell or embodiment as a system. In Akira, body transformations are represented very directly. Although often perceived as a conventional cyberpunk sci-fi anime, when we examine each scene depicting body transformation, we can see much more deeper metaphors being conveyed, often using surrealistic-like approaches to how bodies can convey extreme emotive states of the character in quite striking ways. For an instance, in the scene where Tetsuo first got overwhelmed by his supernatural powers, we can see him holding his head and crying in pain. As he falls onto the ground, the streets start crumbling beneath him as if Tetsuo is about to fall into an abyss, only to end up in the same street that he's on with his guts and organs falling out of his stomach. This enhances the experience of the audience and is used to show how deep in pain he is, by relating it to a physical form of hurt that everyone could relate to. Tetsuo is led on by his desire to be stronger than Kaneda, the leader of the gang that's always overshadowed him. At the end of the film, we get to see Tetsuo finally reaching his top as he sat on a throne overlooking an empty stadium. But the moment didn't last as his body starts to integrate itself with the throne. Tetsuo is consumed by his pride and overwhelming desire so much that he loses himself as a human to reach that goal. This is shown quite literally as parts of him transform into a huge monster that's out of his control and attack everything blindly, even the ones that he sought to protect. In Paprika, the line between reality and dreams are blurred to the point where they can't exist without one another. Metaphors are explicitly used through body image, transformations, and mutations. Since we mostly spend time with the characters inside the dream, the body often portrays the emotional and mental states of the character instead of their physical body. The parade is a very iconic scene that shows a chaotic representation of a deteriorating mental state. The long menacing hallway is a harrowing representation of anxiety. The phone-headed teenagers are teenagers who consume so much of their phone they became one, and so on. The character that we followed most of the time isn't real, as she's just an embodiment of the ideal version that the physical body wants to be. It was emphasized further in the scene where Paprika got caught by the enemy and he de-skinned her in half. It's as if the movie is screaming, you can never truly change who you really are inside. The scene could be seen just for aesthetic purposes, or perhaps to enhance the feeling that we are in the dream world, but this could highlight how Paprika is just a fake outer shell, a fake personality that she and all of us tend to yearn so much, the happy, outgoing, lovable main character. Sarazanmai is the latest anime from this list, utilizing metaphors as the main device to represent and convey narrative. The extreme usage of metaphors from images to dialogues to the bizarre musical cues, Sarazanmai doesn't shy away from its chaotic presentation. This could be seen from the very beginning as a very distinct style choice, how only the main characters are given faces and unique figures, while the rest of the crowds and even villains of the show are given no faces. The basic premise of the series is deeply rooted to Japanese folklore surrounding kappas, a deity that resides in rivers or lakes. Their favorite food consists of cucumbers and shirikodama, a human organ myth that is positioned somewhere near the buttocks and is often compared with a human soul. Being transformed as kappas are the only connection they ever have. Despite having different goals and problems on their own, this transformation is the strongest thing to hold on to their relationship. To name a few more metaphorical instances, boxes are shown throughout the show to represent each person's secret and desire. They are literally carrying their emotional baggage around. The main character's cross-dressing is a representation of the conflict that he has with himself regarding his identity and his desire to be a completely different person to construct a fake connection with his brother, and the list goes on. Sarazanmai is a show that relies completely on metaphors and will not exist without a deep understanding of its usage. In conclusion, the three anime works show how using the metaphorical body as a narrative device can be a powerful and expressive approach. It not only enhances the experience for the audience, but also builds a connection and nuance in understanding complex narrative ideas. The use of the body as metaphor can be seen as an effective device and bridge between reality and surreality, physical and emotional, literal and symbolic, as these works explore notions of self, identity, and desire in compelling and striking ways.